What up, y'all? It's your girl, Jasmine Nicole, and welcome to Weight with Jazz, a safe space for the obese, the overweight, and those who just want to lose weight, and myself to share our weight loss journeys, and a little bit of my life, too. So I'm back, y'all. She back from the trip. And how did the trip in GLP-1 medication, Tirzepatide, go? How did this go? Because I know many are curious, because there's a lot of wondering whether you should take your injection before vacation or should you skip the injection or before a trip or any way out, any time away from your regular, regimen that's set at home. So anytime you're away for days, it's like, okay, now do I take the injection or do I wait until I come back for it? Do I free up socialism? Do I free up that ability to want to eat different things without having to worry about the side effects of the medication? And it's mixed feelings about that. We have some people say, you know what? It won't hurt you. If you skip it, it's okay. You will be able to recoup. You could take it again when you come back. You still will have some of it in your system anyway, so it won't be completely deaded out. That is some theorizing there that some people are looking into and considering before going on their trip, trying to preserve the fun of their trip. And then you have the other side, people saying, look, is the trip really about food or is it about fun? Or does food equal fun? In a sense it does, because food does equal fun. And then of course the social aspect of socializing with other people, which most of the time includes food and libations, drinks or whatever, So you're in that element. It's hard to be in an element of restriction and be happy about it, right? So I'm taking all this into consideration before my trip. So I took my trip and I decided to take the injection, and it happened to be fall on the day of. So my schedule fell right in line. I could have skipped it. I thought about skipping it, but then I thought of putting myself in a position of not being able to completely control what I'm eating. Control it to a sense, but go overboard without this medication. And the fact that I'm on a trip, I'm out somewhere else and I want to explore this, that, and the third and test this and all of that. I didn't want to go beyond by not being on a medication, and then I didn't gain about 5 or 6 pounds on the trip. And some people say, okay, that's fine. Just, get back on it and lose it. It's not like it won't fall off again. And that's something to keep in mind too. But I just really wanted to stay concrete and disciplined. So I wanted to see the effect it would give me by having the injection away from home on a trip. All I will say is that a part of me wish I didn't take it before the trip, and a part of me still am glad that I did take it. The part of me that wish I did not take it is that part of me that experienced nausea and somewhat long-lasting nausea, give or take, throughout the trip. So I'm not going to sit here and say that it was the most pleasurable eating experience for me that I really wish it was, but I did still step out of the bounds of nausea when it did lift up and give me some breathing room. I did explore, and I did tap into some nice eateries that gave me food that was in accordance with the GLP-1 medication. I still was able to seep out, but I still ate light. I still tasted things. I had empanada, which was amazing. This empanada spot was just superb. I wish I went back and got another set of empanadas. But yeah, I was able to still tap in and taste things that I wanted to with limitation, but there still was here and there that nausea factor that was just lingering in the background. And let me tell you something right now, that nausea hit hard before I got off the plane. I don't know what happened, and maybe it has something to do with the pilot. The pilot landed very loosely, okay? If the pilot did not land as loosely as the pilot landed, I would not have had as much vertigo, nausea, and vomiting that I did. It got so bad, like, as it was landing, I mean, of course you need to see, I couldn't. I had to get up and go to the bathroom because I really felt like I was about to pass out on this flight. It was like a whole wave went over me. I was sweating. It was just, sweat started accumulating on my head. I felt it on my back. I said, oh my gosh, I gotta get up. I felt regurgitation slowly coming up. I went to that bathroom, and I'm telling you, I did. And I don't think it had something to do with the medication. I really do think it had something to do with the horrible landing, okay? That just was, the landing was just too much. It was swervy, it was just a dip and all that. I'm like, what is this, am I on a ride? Oh my gosh, I was ready to run off the plane after that. But I was like, okay, after I released what I need to release, I'm like, okay, I just got a real bad case of plain nausea. Because I think that's what it was too. I'm sensitive to motion sickness from ascending and descending in the air. So if it's too rocky, I'm gonna feel it. And it wasn't like just a short-term period of rocky. It was just going through the whole period of descending, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. So that was my nightmare arriving. My nightmare arriving there, okay? And I'm trying to remember, what did I even consume that morning? Because maybe that had something to do with it as well. Taking all this in consideration. Because that morning I consumed liquids, water. I drank a ton of water. I took vitamins. My whole supplement spill. And did I eat? No, because I don't eat in the morning. I fast. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to eat when I get there, when I get to the location, or I'll grab something and eat half of it on the plane. And that's what I did. I grabbed the egg and cheese bagel. It wasn't carbless. It was an egg and cheese bagel, and I just ate half of it. Or I don't think I even had half of it. I ate like a quarter of it because I didn't have an appetite. I didn't really want to eat. As we do know, this is what the medication does. And then me vested in my regimen, my system, and how it works with me, this is how it works with my fasting. I'm not hungry like that. And even if I do try to eat, it's going to be a very small amount in combination with this medication suppressant, and also just in combination with intermittent fasting suppression, because I just am used to fasting. So that was that. I was so relieved. I did release, got to the hotel, and was just like, all right, let me pull it together, because this is not going to be the start and the end of this trip for me. So I was able to let that go. My appetite came back. I did eat something from a eatery. And again, I still just I didn't really indulge the way I wanted to. So I was really kind of fearful a little bit, cautious, because I'm like, okay, I'm not trying to be sick the entire time while I'm here. So I was making sure I was drinking tons of fluids. I brought my protein stuff with me. My green protein shake with me. I did try to drink some of that green protein shake when I first arrived. I don't know what was going on, but it was because of the nausea or just not feeling an appetite at all that I didn't even want to consume my green protein mix. Like, that's what I was just saying. Like, I was just really, I was on cue, on point before leaving my state, okay? I leave my state, I come here, I feel like GLP-1 and knock me all off cue. My plan that was already in place and my routine I was already doing, it felt like I really didn't want that plan because I had no appetite. I was kind of literally force feeding myself, and I was irked because I'm like, listen, I'm on a trip. I do not want to force feed myself. I want to enjoy the food. I want to look forward to it. But I did have moments where I did look forward to. I had good thoughts about food exploring because, you know, when you're away, you want to indulge, you want to sightsee, you want to food see, all that. So, just shaking a little bit. I sat at the table, apparently missing a limb. Excuse that, y'all. But I was able to fit in some good old food. Marginally, okay? Now, me taking this away in future trips to come, would I inject before? I don't know. I don't know, because I could say no based off of this experience. I could say no, I'm not injecting. I'll just go without it. But then would I be regretful later? Be like, oh, you had a good time, but I didn't put on 7 to 8 pounds. And then irritated if it's not coming off in the amount of time I need to come off again. See, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to get into that still. So at the end of the day, it's still discipline and controlling yourself in general. You know, whether you're on the medication or not. Am I on the medication? Am I there for just the food? I'm there for a little bit of the food, fun and play and all of that. But I mean, all of that goes in hand to hand. If I'm without the medication, I'm free. I still can be subject to gastric stuff just to how my body is set up. Like, I still can't overeat because I can still feel discomfort from overeating. So, I mean, I still can cut myself off in that aspect. But there's a little bit more freedom. There's no fear, really, you know. Oh, I can't consume that because something I ate is probably not all digested, or I can't consume that because I want to. Although I barely ate, I don't have the appetite for it. And then does that still equal out a fun time? And so I guess it's to each his own. It's very subjective. What people, you know, how they weigh food and vacating, how they can manage to manipulate this and still enjoy. But I know, like, if what occurred on this trip, especially in the beginning, what occurred is a regularity, I don't know. I may have to do a skip. I may have to pass on it for one trip. And I can still control myself, but I may have to do that because I don't want the nausea. I don't want the nausea if I'm on a trip. I'm gonna be real, I don't think anybody wants nausea if they're on a trip. I don't. So you know I didn't drink. So you know I didn't have an alcoholic beverage. So as I'm saying, when you're weighing it like that, if you're not a drinker, fine, they didn't care. I'm not really a drinker like that, but I still want to have the option that I can. I'm away and I want to relax. That's part of my aura. Being on this, given what I experienced, and I'm like, oh no, I know I definitely really can't. Some people can take it, and then a lot of people can't. This is to each his own too. You realize on the GLP-1 medication, these medications, that they do affect some people the same, and then a lot of people, they do affect differently. Some people are able to drink. Some people are not. Some people swear down against drinking that it makes them sick. Other people say, well, I can drink my calories. Those may be the seasoned people, though. Those are seasoned drinkers. We already know. We ain't gonna use the A word, but those are the seasoned libators, okay? The everyday libators. It's already in their system. They know how to maneuver it. The system ain't rejecting it like that, okay? So they gonna squeeze in their drink when they can squeeze it in. Me, I'm like maybe 1 or 2 glasses of wine, if that. And I'm good. Or if it's going to be hard liquor, it needs to be like cut with club soda, something non-sugary. because I like to stay away from sugar, especially when you're on this. And then that also promotes nausea for me. Even when I wasn't on medication, drinking sugary alcohol was not a good mix for me. That's why I avoided drinking often, because I'm like, I don't want these high sugar drinks, because they always end up making me want to vomit later, which has always been a fear of mine from alcohol, which is why I don't drink alcohol often. And when I did start drinking last year, it was like, Jack on the rocks, give me Jack Daniels with a twist, you know what I mean? I need to get a shot of lemon with ice, and that's it. And that really set well on my stomach, and I still got I got the vibe I needed without being too much, but it settled. And then that was before GLP-1, so that's what happened on this trip. Other than that, the trip was amazing. I definitely explored and saw a lot, but I really wish that I could have had that food component the way I wanted it. It was a hit and miss, and you have to understand that when you're on this medication, it's going to be a hit and miss sometimes. Sometimes you're going to feel hungry, and then you're going to attempt to eat, and then you're probably only going to eat a very small part of it, like instantly. Like I sat down, and that happened to me before. I was hungry, and I sat down to eat, and then all of a sudden it's like I lost the desire. So it's like I only took like a few bites, and it was gone. But then later on in that evening, and this was still early in the dose, later on in the evening, the craving came back. And I was ready to eat. And I had the desire to eat, and I actually wanted to eat the food. So it changes randomly. And then that also can have something to do with the dose, the life of the dose too. Because like after 5 days, it starts losing efficacy. So when it starts losing efficacy, then it kind of opens up freedom for your appetite to increase. So you're going to have more of a sensation to eat. After the 5th day, 6th and 7th day, that's when your noises is going to come back. I'm going to have to say the noises never came back, because this was early in the trip. So the noises don't start coming back for me until like the 5th, mostly like the 6th, 7th day. I was fresh in the beginning of the injection, child, okay? Fresh in the beginning. So this is like the first 3 days. So that's why I was feeling this intensity. So I have to kind of reassess and move differently the next time, okay? Maybe take the injection the week of, but, let it wear off some before your departure. Like maybe don't take it right before. These are the options. Maybe just don't take it right before the departure. Don't take it right before. Take it 4 days before you leave. So if you take it 4 days before you leave, you got like 3 full days left in a 7-week span. That 5th day is starting to lower down, so it's not as intense, but it's there. So then you got a little wiggle room to eat a little bit more, versus you taking it right when you leave and it's fresh and strong the first 3-4 days. And this is just my assessment thinking based on what I experienced, because had I done that, I probably would have had a better outcome for me when it comes to the nausea. I don't think it would have been as strong. Had I just took this injection earlier, like days before I left, I may not have had as much of a situation on the plane either. Maybe, maybe the dose in combination with the way the plane was landing triggered nausea, vertigo, because it's always going to trigger vertigo, but it really triggered that sensation for whatever was in me to come up. And there was barely nothing in me, child. Nothing, because I was fasting. So look, that was my experience, okay? I don't know, take it for what you will. There's so many opinions on here, but you don't know until you experience yourself. And I'm telling you firsthand, it's not going to be all, you know, berries. Always berries when you taking your injection right before your trip. It's a hit and miss. You may be cool depending on how well you have consumed or it has absorbed in your body and how well you adjusted to it. It's a number of factors. You may be cool, but for the most part, if it's really your therapeutic dose, remember I said I'm on the therapeutic dose of 7.5. So if you're on a therapeutic dose of 7.5 and up, and you have not like hit the ceiling, meaning like you really don't feel anything from anything you're taking anymore, you haven't exhausted the efficacy of anything, it's working, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it the first 3 or 4 days. So keep that in mind when you are planning to go away. Stay on your injection, but just possibly consider doing the injection days before you leave. Don't do it the day of. And this is from my experience. I think next time I will do it days before I leave. I will not do it the day of departure. I think I've made that final position, yeah. Based off of that, I think that would be a much more better experience if I just did it days before, maybe 3 days before I leave. Because it's still going to be in you, but it's just not as strong, okay? Because I don't know about y'all, but this compound be compounding. This 7.5s. It's way different from 5. Okay, when I was on 5 milligrams, I felt like I was losing some of that because I mean, of course, it runs out at a certain period of time or loses the efficacy. But I just felt like it wasn't strong enough. I'm thinking it wasn't strong enough and I need to titrate up. Yeah, I didn't titrate it up. And not on brand, you titrated on compound. I titrated on Tirzepatide compound. And it seemed like it's stronger than a brand. And it hit heavy, so I know now. When you know better, you do better. You know, life is all about experiences. I would not be able to share this with you if I did not go and experience it myself. So, but needless to say, now that I'm back into the city, I feel like everything is back in line. I feel like everything is back on track with my gastric system. I don't know, like maybe just a number of factors impacted me. The medication and then flight, jag lag, all of that. All of that can make you feel ill when you depart a plane. Just the whole traveling situation, having to go through all that you have to go through from checking in, okay, all the way to bag claim. Okay, from checking in to TSA to bag claiming, it can really exhaust you. I understand how some people will be like, they get off the flight, they're ready to take a nap. Because I definitely didn't get enough rest on a plane. I don't sleep on planes, it's a phobia. I don't really sleep on planes. And I think y'all know why. No, I will be up. I'm gonna be up when anything and everything occurs. So, let me stop. Lord, y'all. But needless to say, you're gonna have some good days and some bad days on this, y'all. I remember I told you, what was it, that one thirsty AF day I had? Y'all see that video? Check that video of that thirsty AF day I had, okay? Felt like I was dehydrated. And my protein levels were off. Needless to say, my protein levels were extremely off during this trip. because of the appetite suppression. The protein was not there. And because I'm pescatarian, which makes the limitations more limiting, it was difficult, you know. I was trying to find fish, shrimp, scallops, you know what I'm saying, that's not full, you know, that's not loaded in carbs, that's not loaded in some type of pasta. I can't just go eat a piece of steak because I'm not, you know, I don't eat meat. So my protein options are very slim. They're eggs, because I'm a pescatarian, which includes vegetarianism. I eat eggs. I do eat dairy, you know, cheese and all of that. Milk, even though I don't like milk, but I still consume it for protein and other nutrients. But I really prefer not to. Then I have mushrooms, and mushrooms are a source of protein. Low protein, but it's a source of plant protein that I can use as a meat. So as far as that, that's pretty much the options that I have. And tofu, which can be carby, but I mean, when you're eating it plain, it's, you know, without the breading, and you just sauteing it. I think it's like 2 carbs per serving, so it's like one of the lowest plant-based carbs that there are around. So I mean, I can do the tofu, but I don't really do that often. Primarily it is the mushroom, the eggs, the fish, the dairy. That's pretty much what my choices be. And beans, those are what my choices are. And beans are carbs. They're carby as well. So I have to keep all that in consideration as I'm, you know, on keto, as I'm on a low carb regimen of, you know, under 50 carbs. And if you really want to be like keto stream, you need to be like under 20 or under 30. And I've done that some days, and that's a bit much, but you know, if I do that, I really got to relieve some carbs in the next day. But it works. But you know what? Something came to mind from something that I watched. And it just makes you think, like, we're always going to be in a state of trying to fight a food noise. It doesn't matter whether we're on a medication or not. Like, just dealing with weight loss, whether you naturally lost it or you lost it with the aid, you're always going to try to figure out how to balance, manage your food noise, how to maintenance food moderation, how to understand your thoughts and then interpret them into food, the right amount of food you consume, the right foods to consume and the right amount of foods you should consume. We will always be in that mindset. This is a forever thing. So I do understand how the maintenance tool aspect is very needed, because some people have stronger senses of decision making and willpower than others. And this weight thing, this food rationaling thing, is something that is permanent. You will always be calorie cognizant. And I'm saying we, because most often, including me, we will always be calorie cognizant, carb cognizant, protein cognizant. We're always going to be, and fat cognizant. We're just always, the whole bit. We're always going to be aware and conscious of what's going in our mouths and how we can make sure that we are maintaining a certain level of weight that is healthy for our lives. It doesn't matter what system is introduced to do it. We are always going to be in that mindset. And I think it's something we should just probably accept and find ease in and work around, and not think of this weight loss, weight management thing as an immediate tool to just solve every problem. When this is something that's going to continue to plague our minds forever. Like food is something that we need to live. So the constant thinking and manipulating what foods to eat, how to eat, and how to lose weight based on of eating this and not eating that. And it's always going to be this pill. This is why I am kind of grateful of this medication, because it kind of relieves you of that. So I understand coming from the other side where people are coming from. Because, I mean, although this is going to be something that's permanent for us as far as just constantly being weight conscious, it's just, especially women, we're always going to be weight conscious forever. But to put some relief on it is this medication. The GLP-1 medication, whatever one you're on, if you're on a single agonist or you're on the dual agonist, it provides you some relief, mental relief. And it does provide you a sense of control, physical control. It has its pros and its cons. Those are the pros. The cons are the side effects. But you're able to work through the side effects. You can get to where you need to be on it, mentally and physically. Because I am concerned with like mental state that this medication does put people in, like trying to just wrap their head around it, and understand the side effects and what that side effect is doing to them versus other people. How can they prevent the side effect? Are they doing something wrong? And sometimes you may not be doing anything wrong, it just be the medication. So it can cause a lot of cognitive confusion in regard to food. So like that's one of my concerns about this medication as well. It's like you're battling a lot with this, mentally and physically. This is definitely not for the weak. It is not for the weak. GLP-1 is not for the weak-minded. Because the weak-minded probably will fold and they quit after the first dose. This takes heart, for real. This takes heart, this takes discipline and admiration to get this done, y'all. And I did. And let me tell you this too, I think I weighed myself before I left. I ate a little bit of carbs on the trip, and I think my scale increased. I'm gonna do an update soon on my stats, my weight stats, y'all. But yeah, I think I still gained, but I think that probably was just water weight, bloated. I think I was coming on my cycle, or about to. So I think that's what that came from. Other than that, that's what it is, y'all. Well, let me get off of here, because I know I've been in y'all ear for so long, and y'all be tired of me being in y'all ear. My videos, have y'all noticed my videos have been just trickling over into the 30-minute section? I do not intend on it being that way, but that's just what it is. I needed to give y'all an update, though, on how this medication did me on how this medication did me on my trip. All right, so y'all, I'm gonna get at y'all the next video. Be real, boo.